Gets a block. He's going to go. 15, 10, 5. You bet. Touchdown, Bryce Brown. 51 yards. And the Blue Aces on the board.
No penalties, Dave.
He told us this week he's got some 50 offers. I think a few more just came through. Watch on national TV, the 51-yard scamper for Brown to pay dirt.
Again, running to the outside, utilizing his speed, allowing him to turn the corner. Once he tight ropes the sideline here, watch him cut back against the grain, the nifty footwork, and number 8, Jawanza Poland, right there, coming in to make the block on Michael Thompson to set him free and spring him for the touchdown. You know, Dave, the first time that prospects can receive offers as a junior is September 1st of their junior year, and he said he got about 50 letters this week. Look at the ability to cut back, as we talked about, and the speed to separate. Ran out of gas a little bit. Luckily, nobody was chasing him here at the end, but wow, impressive run. And no penalty flag. That's the most important thing for Coach Brian Byers and the Wichita East Blue Aces.
Michael Poe adds the PAT for Wichita East. And Bryce Brown cruises to another touchdown. We told you he had 6 last week in the season opener. We spoke with Bryce this week. Very easygoing, outspoken young man who exudes confidence. And he said what a pleasure it's been to play with his brother Arthur. He's the senior, headed somewhere, a major Division 1A program, to play linebacker. He said it's just been a blessing because the two have been playing since they were in 2nd grade. Played Little League, Pop Warner football together, and they've just been with one another since then.
And the great thing about it is he gets to watch his older brother go through the recruiting process and learn the do's and don'ts and how to handle things. And a lot of guys have that luxury. It's kind of sprung upon them, and they don't really know how to handle it sometimes.
Zach Brown, the kickoff. Good coverage. DeMonte Hill on a 10-yard return. So Bryce Brown, one of the top running backs for next year. Tom, how about your ESPN 150, our top 150 players of the nation for this year? Jeremy Calhoun is first up.
Well, Jeremy Calhoun is a guy that has the good fortune at Van High School right now to be going to the spread offense, which is going to open some running lanes for him because they were really starting to face a lot of 8-man fronts defensively. And then Ryan Williams out of Stonewall Jackson there in Virginia. He is a Cadillac Williams type of guy. Great balance, great agility. It's a good running back class. Richard Samuel is a guy that's going to add to that Georgia backfield that looks impressive right now with no Sean Moreno.
You should log on to ESPN.com, ESPNU.com to get that ESPN 150. Here's Winger carrying on first down, drags some tacklers. Joe Rodriguez eventually brings him down. After a good pickup, Michael Manor there as well on the tackle from behind. Manor, a very good student we told you about in that advanced placement program. The IB program, that is a prestigious advanced placement, international baccalaureate. 2,075 schools participate in 125 different countries. That is one of the most difficult programs to get into and maintain a very high GPA. So Manor's done very well academically. Wichita East. Number 3 to go in our first half. Head the man in motion. Hubble carries. He's been a great two-way player, and he's drilled after a gain of about a yard there. Jeffrey Stanford, the first man to get to him, in addition to Arthur Brown.
Well, Michael Manor and this defensive front for Wichita East are doing a great job, Dave, of keeping blockers off of the linebackers, DeMonte Hill and Arthur Brown. Arthur Brown is making tackle after tackle without having to get through a first line of defense, which is not exactly how the game plan would have liked to have been played out for Justin Burke and the Dodge City Red Demons.
Going down toward 2 minutes to go in our fading first half clock here from Dodge City. 2 receivers to the right of Meyer on third down. Winger breaks a tackle. Arthur Brown runs him down from behind. A ferocious tackle again by Brown. Winger does have first down yardage out to the 34-yard line. Got 6 on the play. But Brown tracks the ball carrier with incredible efficiency, joined by Hill on that last tackle.
It's like the ball has a little homing beacon in it, and he's just boom. And he is all over it like a heat-seeking missile, and he has been as advertised. This is what we saw on tape all last year, over and over again. Been so impressed here tonight.
Trouble Brayton Meyer with a snap, able to dive on it, but they will lose 2 yards on first down, and the clock is their enemy here, rolling down under 1:45 left in the first half.
Got to keep in mind, too, Dave, with Arthur Brown at the next level, wait till he gets in the weight room. Wait till he gets on 3 meals a day at training table, and all of a sudden is a 225, 230, 235 pounder. Look out.
Michigan, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, USC, Rutgers, Florida, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Kansas, Nebraska, Georgia, Colorado, Washington, Wisconsin, UConn, Vandy, UCLA, Clemson, Purdue. Should I go on? Iowa, Iowa State.
Got any in the NFL?
I mean, Miami. Those are all schools interested in the services of Arthur Brown at the next level. Timeout is called by Dodge City. And Arthur is going to name his top 16 schools coming up after the game for us tonight. Well, some of us flew into Wichita, Kansas, Tommy. It's about 150 miles from here, good 2.5-hour drive. And when you make the rural Kansas highway drive, you pass through Greensburg, Kansas. And tragically, this was the town that was decimated by that tornado. May the 5th, a G5 tornado, largest category, a 1.5-mile wide swath. Took out everything in its path, 10 fatalities. It struck at 9:45 p.m. Many of the folks were given a 15-minute warning. They were in their shelters and basements. When they came up, this is what they saw. Nothing was left. And the most incredible sight is to look at several streets when you drive through Greensburg. And it's a very small town. About 1,200 people live there. And just see piles of rubble, used to be homes, blocking the end of each road. It's remarkable. The tragedy these folks close by to where we are here in Dodge City had to endure.
Well, the devastation of it all, just to get out of the path, a 15-minute warning, as you mentioned. God bless those folks and the ones who did not have shelters to get into.
The high school is open. The hospital right along that main road. Looks like the MASH unit. It's literally just a tent, temporary tent for a hospital in Greensburg, Kansas. Second and 13. Off the timeout. Another 1:15 to go. Look out. Nothing doing there. Trouble there for Meyer. And Stanford the first to get to him. Jeffrey Stanford, an aggressive play in the backfield. They'll lose more yardage.
Jeffrey Stanford, Ray Frazier, Arthur Brown off the edge, coming from the right side that time. They are starting to pour it on. I think they see that this Dodge City offense is really starting to get a little bit confused, losing their confidence a little bit. I think it's time for Wichita East to drop the hammer and keep bringing the pressure.
Stanford, a very good student. They're perfect GPA. His mom is a minister. She preaches 35 miles away in Heston, Kansas, which is not too far from Wichita. And this family moved up to Heston over the summer. As the coaches told us, his timeout is taken again here by Dodge City. Jeffrey Stanford never misses a practice. He's always early, despite that long drive every day from rural Kansas to get to the high school in Wichita. Don't forget, women's volleyball continues on ESPNU later tonight. Pepperdine, the Waves taking on Texas. On conference matchup, Texas out of the Big 12, 7th ranked in the nation. Women's volleyball on ESPNU Friday night, 11:30 Eastern time. Waves. Sports covered for you here on ESPN.
So you drove it in from Wichita.
I did. Wanted to see a little bit of the country. Thought it would be interesting and had a chance to pass through Greensburg, which was both fascinating and tragic to view, but just the landscape and just imagining, Tom, that in this region at one time, 80 million buffalo roam free. 80 million. And in about 200 years, after the settlers came through and the Plains Indians fought against the settlers, they realized, of course, that the buffalo was the main source of their food and livelihood. 1,000 remained by the end of the 19th century. 1,000. From 80 million to 1,000. Incredible. 3rd and 16. With just 30 ticks to go, first half. Brayton Meyer looks like a design quarterback run, running for his life. Gets a nice block from Hubble, who sprung him. He's out to the 41. Selwyn Frazier tracked him down along with Gabriel Garrett. A pickup of 13. How about Hubble, who's been everywhere? That was a tremendous open field block.
I like Hubble. He's really doing some nice things out there. But credit Brayton Meyer here, too, and credit the coaching staff at Dodge City for moving the pocket a little bit, allowing them to just move around and make some plays and get out where you can see the field a little bit better. Made the wise decision to tuck the football and get out of bounds. Yeah, you drove from Wichita. I got on a propeller rubber band balsa wood plane from Kansas City to Dodge
We're
City.
glad you made it safely. 25 seconds to go, 4th down. They will go for it here. Meyer is throwing. Here's Mike.